But today, y'all, you guys gotta get ready to go see Sinners. Okay. You guys, it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited. Look, you guys. Why do I do stupid shit? Showtime is at 9:30 just because I wanted to have something on Saturday nights. And we're just gonna get ready. When I talk about having my own identity, part of it is me creating these businesses that I have. Well, I really don't have one business. People be like, part of the reason why I cultivated my spiritual business is because I wanted to do something that I wanted to do outside of the identity that I have as another. The identity that I have as Casey. Like, who is she? And that's kind of where a lot of the things that I do stem from is like me exploring those things. And that's kind of like what we're doing. So let me finish getting ready and I'll get back with you guys once I finally complete. Okay? Hey, you guys. Bitch, I'm ready. Bitch, I'm ready. I got my brain hugging, skull gripping wig on. It look a little crazy, but I'm gonna put the pins in it, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go to the movies, you guys. Hold on, let me figure this out. Cause I got these little bangs in the front. They look a little crazy. They're looking a little crazy right now. And I don't want them to look crazy. All right. We are gonna figure it out. Figure it out.
No empathy, man. Yes. You know, for the suffering.
I don't care if it looks crazy. Because it is almost 8 o'clock. The mouvoir showtime is at 9:30, guys. And it's almost 8 o'clock, and because of the theater that I chose to go to, it's like 37 minutes away. So, because I'm changing bad habits in my life, one of which is being late to things, I am really striving to be on time. So my plan, once I get done putting these pins in here, because I like to get the little side part type of effect. Once I get done doing that, this is gonna be around 8 o'clock. We're gonna leave. That gives us an hour and 30 minutes until showtime. Okay, that means I won't be late, and that means I won't have anything to necessarily be frustrated about. See, this is crazy because I feel like I need to do this. There we go. I won't have anything to be frustrated about because I am choosing a different way to handle situations instead of repeating the same mistakes and bad habits over and over again, being late and then complaining about it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that I was almost done and we're gonna be on time. I feel like I was productive today, you guys, because even though we have these conversations, it's technically still like me keeping my word to myself about like creating content, really showing what I want to show and being who I want to be and putting my content out there confidently without like feeling stressed about it or without feeling anxious about it. I'm really proud of myself for that. There's a lot of things that I've been working on like individually to try to improve. Oh my God, you can see the freaking cap. I need to go get some black wig caps. I don't know why I didn't do that when I went to the beauty supply store, because that was part of the reason I went in there. Bless you. Who's sneezing? Y'all, let me try to move the hair down. Okay, we getting cute. And we're gonna have a good time because we are celebrating ourselves, not overindulging, but celebrating ourselves and doing something that helps to develop our personal identity. And that's really a beautiful thing. So I did my edges, you guys. I know it looks kind of crazy up close, but far away, it does what needs to be done on a budget, okay? So I'm gonna get my stuff together and then get in the car, and I will see you guys when I get to the movies. Listen.
Me again.
Fit check.
Brother.
Child, it is 8:07 and I'm walking out the door. Goodbye, dirty ass mirror. Goodbye. Hey, you guys, look at me in the car with my little light. Listen, we here. We at Studio Movie Grill. We made it, you guys. And it is actually what is that? It's 8:49, okay? My time on my My time on my car is wrong. So it's 8:49. I literally have 40 minutes to get inside. They tell you to come 20 minutes ahead of time because of the fact that it's Studio Movie Grill and you can order food and drinks and things like that. But remember what I said earlier, I'm trying to create better habits. So I wanted to make sure that I got here at least 30 minutes ahead of time so that I could film for you guys and then, you know, go into the movie. And I'm super excited, you guys. Like, I know this might seem really simple and like people who have certain lifestyles might not think that this is a big deal. But from the perspective of myself or someone who never really grew up in a lifestyle of privilege, I really had to make a lot of sacrifices to raise my kids, and just sacrifices when I was younger with my mom and living that single parent lifestyle. I never really got to do a lot of things like this that were really for me or that were enjoyable, that I could just kind of learn who I am and learn my personality. So it might seem like I'm making a big deal out of going to the movies, but it's something that's really close to my heart, and that's why I talked to you guys so much in the last video about really finding yourself and figuring out what it is that you want, because it helps you to keep your sanity. Rude ass Nat in here getting all in my frame. It helps you to understand who you are, and when you understand who you are, no one can tell you what you are. When you understand what you enjoy, no one can take you for any type of loop or craziness to get you to do things and peer pressure you or influence you in a way that would be counterproductive or negative for yourself. So I'm proud of myself for not only taking these steps, baby steps, however large or small they are. I'm proud of myself for taking these steps, and I'm really proud of myself for documenting it and showing you guys, because I hope ultimately that this helps some of you guys develop these same new habits, or try to help you develop new habits in your own life that are more productive and more healthy for yourself and the people around you who you love and care about. So child, I'm finna go in here and get myself set up, honey, and I will be back to tell you guys my raw first reaction to the Sinners movie and what I gained from it, like straight off the cuff, right out of the movie theater. Okay, I'm super excited. I'll see you guys when I get out. All right, you guys, so we are getting out the car and we're about to go into the movie theater, and there was a lot going on out there, but yeah, Studio Movie Grill, eat, drink, movies. It's definitely a vibe. If you've never been to a Studio Movie Grill, I definitely suggest, if you like going to the movies, that you should try it out. Now when you go in, there's this little bar area, and these are stock photos because I was in the moment. I did not take any pictures, but I definitely checked out the drink menu, and I also checked out the appetizers, and I decided to get this Don Paloma because y'all, I really like only drink tequila. I like different alcohols, but at this point in my life, I only drink tequila. I think the reason for that is because it doesn't make me feel just completely tore down. Okay, back in the day when I was first getting into my 21 and up bag, yeah, I might have drank some Tito's. Okay, we might have had some Tito's. Okay, and cranberry, which is just nasty. It's just ridiculous. But now, definitely on a more chill vibe. So I got the Don Paloma, and it was really good. It's definitely like a margarita style drink, but the bartender that was there, he jazzed that sucker up. Now, I also got the Southwest egg rolls, chicken, black beans, pepper jack, corn, peppers, spinach, and cilantro in crispy tortillas with jalapeno ranch. That sucker was good. Here's another stock image, because I'm telling you guys, I am in the moment. Whenever I try to film for things and like get the footage together, it's just, it takes away sometimes from the moment that you're actually experiencing. So while I enjoy doing these like vlog style pieces of content, it's kind of difficult for me because there'll be times where I forget to film. There'll be things that I want to include in the video that I don't include in the video because I'm just not thinking about pulling out my camera and filming every single thing. But I digress. Those egg rolls were delicious. So now I'm sitting in my seat, you guys, and I got this other little drink called the Hurricane or whatever, but I think they called it like the smokestack or something because it was the Sinners movie, so they theme it to the movie, and my bartender had made it for me, and I just took it in the theater in my little cup holder, and now I'm just sitting here waiting for the movie to start. And the cool thing about Studio Movie Grill is that you get these nice seats, child. I was just kicking my feet, having a good old time. I'm just getting ready for the movie to start, and it's about to start, and I am excited. This gift can bring healing my goodness, you guys. I gotta get in the car and talk to y'all about this movie. Ooh. Okay, you guys. Ooh, child. I had a time, child. I had a time.
Boy, we had a time last night. Boy, we had a time last night.
I just got out of the Sinners movie, y'all. Oh my gosh. So I'm feeling kind of wavy because I had a few drinks and I had some egg rolls, like Southwest egg rolls. Okay, they was good, right? I just got out of the movie, y'all. I don't know what to tell you guys about this movie. I really feel like I have to let it digest because there was a lot going on. Like, first reaction, okay? I feel like it was an amazing movie. There was so much symbolism. There was so much allegory. There were so many metaphors that just had me like feeling some type of way. Well, I'm watching my back because it's dark. But there was so many things that told a story that needs to be told. And I don't know how to explain how I feel after watching this movie. Like, it feels so surreal. Like, I feel like the movie dropped me into a world that was foreign but familiar. That's what it made me feel. I felt like there was a connection to the music and the stories. And personally, because of what I believe, I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is to be connected to your culture and to know where you come from and to know what your life means from the basis of your roots and from the basis of the people who came before you and the stories that they tell and what their lives were like and how they navigated, really how they navigated different situations. The thing I feel that stood out the most for me when it comes to this movie, right, was the fact that no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, your race, your religion, your ethnicity, the country that you come from, the people who you come from, music and rhythm and songs bring us together. And I believe firmly that whenever you use your gifts, whatever they are, whether it's music or art or speech, or writing, those gifts and skills and talents and abilities are things that connect us as people no matter where we come from. It's what makes us human, and it's a powerful tool, and it's a tool that's been utilized, right? It's a tool that's been utilized to kind of trap us in a way. Not to say that people who have talent and gifts aren't talented. It's not to say that they don't deserve to be noticed or recognized for what they can do and who it is that they are. But it is to say that you have to be very careful with how you use your gifts and who you allow to have access to your gifts, because it can easily be turned into a weapon. Y'all, I feel crazy. Like, when you watch movies like this that really touch on kind of deeper topics, more spiritual topics, because this movie was really doused and drenched in folk tales and spirituality and stuff like that. When you talk about anything that's connected to that type of energy, or when you talk about things that connect people together on a more like cerebral level, like on a psychic level, on a deeply ingrained level, it becomes very touchy. And I'm not saying a whole lot about each of the characters, but each of the characters in this movie played a really important role when it comes to explaining different sides to the story. And what I think a lot of us need to be careful of when we have heightened senses and abilities in certain genres and in certain crafts is who we allow to govern them. Also, what we will do when it comes to standing for them. So like, if you have a gift and somebody wants to monetize or utilize your gift, you have to be careful of what price you pay. You really got to be careful of what you're willing to sell or how much you're willing to sacrifice yourself for. Because we all have a price, right? It just depends on what individually your price is. And we have to be careful of our decision to monetize ourselves and our decision to put a price tag on anointed gifts, because it's a slippery slope that can lead you down a really dark path. Not only that, but we also have to be careful of how we treat each other based on that premises. Nope. Or based on that premise. Because when it comes down to monetization of gifts, talents, skills, and abilities, right? Sometimes we can transfer our pain to others unbeknownst to us. Sometimes you know it subconsciously, but sometimes you don't really realize it. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people are having to learn when it comes to current situations and things that are going on in society. We have to be really careful about the price that we put on peace, the price that we put on safety, the price that we put on the things that we desire and the things that we want, and the price that we put on justice. Because sometimes we're so eager to get justice for the things that we feel have been done to us and the ways that we feel like we've been wronged, that we will end up persecuting another group of people without even wanting to or realizing that it's happening. It's crazy. I also feel like this movie touched on sentiments about transitioning and different stages of evolution when it comes to life and death. There was a lot of focus on life and death and the difference between the two and whether or not it's really different, and also what a person is willing to do to continue living. Because I think that this movie touched on a lot of the things that are whispered in different conspiracy circles about life and death and about certain groups and organizations that center around trying to live forever. We really have to be careful how much weight we put on life and how the weight that we put on life can create fear about what happens after death, because there was definitely symbolism about fearing death in this movie and fearing the afterlife, so to speak. And I think a lot of people are afraid to die. And because a lot of people are afraid to die, or they're afraid to leave this world without leaving some type of mark on this world or doing something notable, they put themselves in a very precarious position to continue life or progress life forward. And it may not even be because they want to put a mark on the world. It may just be because they're afraid of what's going to happen after they die. So they're willing to sacrifice things that are sacred, like their souls or their essence or their being, just to continue living out of fear of what's after this life. Man, when I tell y'all, it was so much in this movie that just had me like really thinking. And I think my favorite part was probably a lot of people's favorite part, when they were in a juke joint and they were all dancing and they kind of like invoked these spirits. The music was an invocation and an invitation to open up the portals of time, and it showcased all of the different decades of music or millennia of music over time, and how the power of music can really bring people together. And that speaks to your sacral chakra and your root chakra and also your solar plexus, because when you dance, a lot of times, especially indigenous or ethnic people, we move our hips, we move our feet, we whine and, grind and twerk and dance. And it's just like, that's connection to the sacral, solar plexus, and the root chakra, which is the baser instincts of an individual, if you think about it. If you look at the higher chakras and the higher registers of vibration, that's your crown, your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart chakra. But when you get to the lower registers of the physical body and you look at those lower chakras, that's like the more baser instinct. That's something that's ingrained within us on a level that's deeper than conscious understanding. It's on a level that comes from what's been encrypted in our DNA. And a lot of people don't believe in this type of stuff. And like a lot of people, it was very interesting because I told you guys, I was like, I hope it's not a lot of people in the theater, because when I bought my ticket, a lot of the tickets were still open. But when I tell you the theater was pretty packed, like it was sufficiently full. And it was very interesting to see how many people came out to see this movie. And it was people of different ethnicities, because I'm in kind of like a more integrated area, but it was a lot of Black people. And one thing I feel, and one thing I noticed and realized when I was watching everybody like get up and the credits were going, I realized that a lot of people don't understand allegory or symbolism or metaphors on a deeper level. Like there was a lady who was sitting next to me and she was so sweet, and we kind of like talked before the movie started and we were reacting to things in the movie, and she was really cool. But I realized that sometimes the reason why we always get tripped up, and I knew this, but you know, you continue to learn and you continue to relearn as you go through life. But this really drove home the point to me that people want answers. Right? People want clarity. People want to understand what their life means, what their life is about. They want to understand why they continue to be oppressed. They want to understand why they can't get ahead in life, or why certain people are afforded certain privileges and others are not. But I noticed all of these minorities, whatever they are, I don't want to categorize anybody, but I noticed all of these minorities, especially Black people, sitting in this theater and watching this movie. And I don't assume or presume to know what they're thinking, but I read energy, okay? I do it for a living. And I can tell that a lot of people missed the message. And I think that's something that happens a lot of times. Like when they say that the controlling forces have to put things in plain sight, because that's a clause of the contract of their control over us. And if they don't put it in plain sight, then it makes it unlawful, because it takes away an individual's choice and free will ultimately. I realized after watching everyone kind of like in this movie, watching this movie, that a lot of the things that were being expressed and told went over a lot of people's heads. And I think that's oftentimes what it is, because people are easily distracted. And despite an internal core desire to be safe, have safety, security, peace, stability, a lot of people don't understand what comes along with being afforded those privileges. A lot of people don't understand that there's a certain level of awareness that you have to have in order to maintain peace, security, stability, and safety. And I don't think people really understand on a level of like the majority what this movie really symbolized and what it really meant. Now, I wasn't in all the theaters around the world wherever this movie was showing, so I'm just, saying this as a firsthand initial reaction. But I think sometimes what tricks us and trips us up as people, regardless of who we are, because they definitely highlighted other oppressed groups in this movie, like the Irish, for example, and the Chinese. But I think what trips a lot of us up is that when they tell us something and when they show us something, we're so quick not to believe it. We're so quick to dismiss it. We're so quick to pass it off as, oh, it's just a movie, or oh, it's just a TV show, or oh, it's just a song. When in reality, more of us have to understand that everything has a meaning and that none of this motherfucking shit is a coincidence. And I just think that a lot of people are in a place of complacency, fear, and delusion, that they don't get that. Like, they don't see that, they don't realize that, and they don't want to acknowledge that. And it's just kind of sad, because it allows for the people who have continued to oppress all of us for so long to just have free reign to continue to do so. And I personally just can't stand for that shit. Like, I personally will continue to fight for the rest of my life to try to get people to see what they don't want you to see. This movie brought up a lot about like sacrifices too. Not just talking about like hidden organizations. I'm talking about the sacrifices that you make as an individual when it comes to making a different choice. All of the people who stayed in that juke joint made a sacrifice to leave the people who they loved in a situation that was very tumultuous and scary, because they didn't really have a choice. And sometimes everybody is not ready or able to make those type of sacrifices. Everybody can't handle that pressure. And it made me think about, like, sometimes when you want people to come together and you want people to unite for positive change, but some people aren't able to do that. Like, some people aren't able to some people aren't even able to acknowledge or become aware of the need. And even if they do, they're not able to process it. They're not able to break it down in their mind. It doesn't process. It doesn't compute in their mind to accept what needs to be done and deal with what that means. Deal with that sacrifice that comes with that. Sometimes it gets frustrating because it feels like people who are in positions where they are strong enough to make those sacrifices and they do want to see change happen, it makes the burden very heavy on those individuals because they want for people to be able to understand that there's power in numbers, and they want people to know that standing up for yourself can make some type of change, but they also don't want to do it alone. And it becomes this tug of war, it becomes this battle, and that's what creates discourse or discord or whatever the word is, child. It's late. But that's what creates the tension. I say this all the time too. I think that you have to accept that everybody doesn't want to drink, even if they're right in front of the water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And sometimes it's hard because that means that whoever doesn't want to drink may have to face their demise, or they take the easy way out and end up ultimately sacrificing things that are priceless for something very minimal. But it's like you have to just allow that to happen and fight for what you believe in, no matter who believes you or who follows you. You have to just do what you feel like is right. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't know how to accept. Everybody kind of wants for the world to be this place of purity and sanctity and security, safety, and stability, like I said. And they don't want any evil, and they don't want any violence, and they don't want any hatred. But people are afraid to acknowledge that that's not realistic, like logically and spiritually, energetically. It's not realistic to have a perfect utopia style world. And I think that's what a lot of people have to accept and face, because there's always going to be fluctuations of good and evil. There's always going to be times where things feel or seem to be better than other times. But when you have a situation where you're dealing with human beings and God's creatures and free will and individuals who have their own minds and hearts, you have to allow space for the people who aren't going to be able to handle that sacrifice and give them grace. I think that's what a lot of people are missing. Everybody's so hostile and vindictive and just hatred-filled, rage-filled, and they have this unbridled vitriol towards their fellow human because they feel like they should be doing this or that. But we need to have grace for each other to understand that everybody's not built for this shit. Like, everybody's not going to be built for the things that you're built for. Everybody's not going to understand what you understand. Everybody's not going to be able to handle what you're able to handle. And maybe one day they will. Like, maybe one day at some point or another, they'll be able to come to the light and see like your side of the coin and what it is that you believe and have the strength to fight. But you can't wait for that day to come. So you have to be confident and strong and courageous in your choice and your decision. But that doesn't mean that you have to tear another person down for their decision. And I think if we all understand that balance and we understand the value of the gifts that we possess and how we've been pitted against each other when it comes to those gifts, I think there could be a lot more balance on the scales when it comes to good and evil. Child, that movie was crazy, y'all. But I'm finna get my ass in the car and I'm gonna drive home and just reflect and enjoy the rest of my night. And I hope you guys do the same thing. I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. Be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me know in the comments if you've gone to see Sinners or if you've watched it on your own. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about what I said. And if you kind of picked up on those vibes when you saw the movie. I want to know what you guys think. So hit the thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, get in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.